Banned and restricted list September 2nd by Brian. So the ones that I care about are the classic constructeds. So the following changes to classic constructed are effective as of Monday, September 1st, 2025. So today. Bonds of Agony is banned, which sucks. Golden Tipple Red and Golden Tipple Yellow is banned, which is kind of crazy. I kind of thought they were only going to hit Golden Tipple Yellow. Plume of Evergrowth is banned. That's the one I'm kind of curious about. Talk a Big Game. That one kind of feels crazy. A big game? Okay, also, I was just making sure that the audio is good. We're fine. Anyway, Talk a Big Game is... I don't know this card. Oh, choose a number. The next time you deal that much damage or more to a hero this turn, create that many might tokens. Oh, interesting. A Majestic Brute block 3 got banned for a reason that I guess we'll get to. Also, Germinate is unbanned. So all of the Florian apologists. This is like so loud. I can hear it all the way over there. All the Florian apologists can rejoice. But given the high quality of games and statistically strong balance of the current classic constructed format, this significant change to the ban and restricted list may come as a shock. I don't know. Gravy feels pretty strong. It's worth talking again about some of the reasons why we may choose to modify the ban and restricted list and our current philosophy regarding adjustments. We may employ bans for multitudes of reasons, including, but not limited to, a deck running a full, I don't know what that, why are they using bit words? I don't know what that word means. These New Zealanders think they're so smart. A foul, to conflict or difficulty with. Just a deck running afoul of design principles. A deck performing in a statistical anomalous fashion. A deck providing an unfun or difficult to engage with play experience. I think that Gravy has high representation and mediocre turnout. What is it? Conversion. Mediocre conversion rate. So I really don't think that it was an anomalous, like a statistical anomaly of how good Gravy was doing. I think that Gravy falls into the unfun or difficult, or unfun is subjective, but very difficult to engage with. A card restricting current or future design space. This absolutely is Bonds of Agony. They are not allowed to make good attack reactions ever again if Bonds of Agony continues to exist. So I think that Bonds of Agony is really strong and also restricts future designs. To freshen up the metagame, I don't think we need that. An attempt to slightly modify balance, adding space for more heroes and classes to succeed. I feel like that also is a Gravy situation. Today's bans and restricted announcement, in small part, attempts to do all of those things. When we last adjusted the Living Legend point system, we declared a desire to become more active in the management of our formats, especially when it comes to CC. In the early days of TCGs, and indeed persisting to the present in the minds of some publishers, bans were often treated as a scarlet letter that designers and developers were forced to wear, signaling that they had failed at their jobs. While Flesh and Blood may be inspired by classic TCGs, it also endeavors to be the future of the medium and does not feel beholden to the past. We believe the advent of live service gaming and the modern gamer's appetite for a format adjustment has changed with the times. Bans are a tool that we believe our player base appreciates the liberal usage of. I would agree. I think that this is a really interesting and very cool statement to just say out loud, that they are looking at Flesh and Blood as a paper excuse me, a paper live service game, where if they feel that slight things need to be tweaked, or they can see into the future and need to tweak some things such as the Talk a Big Game, that they are very, very okay with just banning and unbanning different cards in Classic Constructed to slightly adjust power levels. I think Hearthstone in recent years does an amazing job of this, of tweaking numbers on cards all the time just to try to make the balance even better. Very cool. Very cool, Flesh and Blood. This is not declaring there will always be macro and micro adjustments. This is not declaring there will always be micro and macro adjustments in each ban period. We are just making it clear that even when a format is solid, as Classic Constructed currently is, gravy feels a little unfun and a little strong, but sure. It will not stop us from striving for an even better metagame if we think it's possible. We continue to use bans and unbans as a valuable part of Flesh and Blood development, striving to do so in a way that respects our players' time and investments. I think that that makes sense. I think, like, this is a common, this is like an old common, this is a common, this is a common. The only thing here is Bonds of Agony is a majestic, and Talk a Big Game is a majestic that no one was buying. So I think the investment thing makes sense. People shouldn't be mad at that. Bonds of Agony. Bonds of Agony was intended, or this also, by the way, is the card that I am most sad to see go. As someone who A, enjoys Assassins, and B, was going to play Slippy at Chicago. This feels bad. But also it probably needs to happen. Bonds of Agony was intended to reward assassins for taking on a somewhat challenging quest of developing multiple attack reactions in the same chain link, and in turn give assassins' opponents a difficult defending decision, which I think it definitely gives the opponent a difficult defending decision. Both of these propositions have begun to break down as the assassin card pool has expanded. Hello, unknown. Welcome to the stream. WSG. I don't know what that means. I'm old. I'm sorry. Bonds of Agony. When Arachne slipped through the cracks, starts the turn with it alongside a full grip of cards is simply impossible. Yeah, you just must put all 9 cards. There is almost no counterplay. There's almost no outs. Over defend, and Slippy moves on to the next chain link and mauls you. Under defend, and you're taking 12 plus damage and maybe losing your most important cards. With take up oh, excuse me. My God. I did not think about reading with COVID. With Take Up the Mantle in the mix, the decision is one theoretically faced on a vast majority of turns in the game. This feels unfair. That's fair. Pair this with Slippy's win rate that sits just below the problematic threshold, and the fact that Assassin card pooled like our card pools will continue to add more powerful options as the game goes on, and therefore more profitably and reliably find the 3 reactions to trigger Bonds of Agony, and it has become clear it is time to slightly scale down the assassin's power level. As is true for every banned card on this list, the goal is not to destroy Slippy's win rate, but at the same time has to take steps to the mitigate, or the midi, oh my god, whoa. Let me restart. But the time has come to take steps to mitigate the damned if you do, damned if you don't play experience. And along the way, get Slippy back down to a more reasonable winning threshold. So yeah, I think all of this makes sense. I think the fact that you can literally run 3 pieces of equipment. I mean, you could do this in new as well, but the fact that you could have, like, you just need Flick Knives and Black Tech Whisperers and a singular attack reaction, and like you fulfill Bonds of Agony if you really need to, and like just a nick flick, like it very clearly the strongest card in the deck. Also, the fact that Take Up the Mantle exists is like super unfun when there's a Bonds of Agony in the graveyard and there's always a threat of Take Up the Mantle. And also, like, yeah, like they said, they will continue to add more powerful. They just can't print any more powerful attack reactions because it'll just make Bonds better. This makes sense. This is sad. I kind of wish, for selfish reasons, that they would have done this after Chicago. But, like, that's selfish, and this probably needed to go anyway. You have COVID? Yes, I did. I got COVID on Thursday, and it kind of sucks. But I'm feeling a lot better. So I decided to stream, because also I missed streaming. Okay. This I am very excited about. I thought they were just going to hit Golden Tipple Yellow. Golden Tipple Red and Yellow. In my 30 years of TCGs, I struggled to find an analog for the Gravy Bones experience. You don't fucking say, eh, Brian? When we are analyzing whether a deck is warping balance or performing at statistically unacceptable rates, we are necessarily driven by data. If win rates tell us a deck is too strong, we have to respect the evidence. But what happens when almost everyone is positive a deck is too good, but the data tells us a completely different story? See, this is what I was thinking, is this deck feels impossible to play against, but its conversion rate is not insane. I hope you get better. Thank you, Unknown. I appreciate it. I'm getting there. Well, that's Gravy Bones. A deck with an entirely pedestrian. It's not pedestrian. I mean, I don't know. The win rate's fine. That many folks believe. I mean, my reaction to that statement is literally what Brian is talking about. They have the fucking data. Of course they know what the win rate is. Like, it's stupid. They know what the win rate is, and if they think it's pedestrian, then it's pedestrian. And the fact that I believe that the deck is the best in the format, and perhaps one of the more powerful Flesh and Blood decks we've ever seen, and frankly, I have to agree with them. Yeah, it feels insane. Gravy Bones may be having his win rate altered by the fact that he is friendly. He is fiendishly difficult to play. Yes, that is also part of it. But watch what the deck can do in the hands of Pro Tour top 8 competitors like Michael Hamilton, Arthur, Eneki, I don't know how to pronounce it, and Shurewu, and it's hard to argue against the fact that that necromancy is the best thing you can be doing in Flesh and Blood right now. Yes. Good players pilot the good decks well. In the hands of masters, bad matchups tend to dissipate very quickly, and the good matchups are over before it even begins. Also, the mirror match is like unbelievably boring to watch and feels so difficult to play. Thus far, so much of Gravy Bones' power has been tied up in the fact that he has access to an almost an insane amount of fucking gold. Gravy Bones plays solid turns with all manner of hand sizes and configurations, but those legitimately broken turns always involve cracking 2 to 3 gold and shaping a hand to be an opponent's worst nightmare. Gravy Bones needs to start working harder for his access to such bountiful treasure. Makes sense. The good turns happen when the gold is a-flowing. The starting point here will be the ban of golden tipples, both in red and yellow, but that may not be the end for Gravy Bones adjustments. Okay, so they are willing to continue to look at Gravy Bones if the golden tipple bans do not suffice. A huge benefit of the Living Legend point changes is the time granted to us in order to shape a new hero into a balanced and successful participant in Classic Constructed. I think that is a very cool and optimistic way to think about it. We are definitely going to be seeing Gravy for a long time, so fucking figure him out. Perhaps Saltwater Swell in all colors also eventually proves to be too much. There was definitely speculation on that card as well. Maybe the metagame evolves in such a way where Gravy isn't all that good anymore, and Golden Tipple ultimately comes back to the deck. Hold on. Excuse me. Oh my god. And Golden Tipple ultimately comes back to the deck. We are open to all possibilities and are happy to have the time to explore this go around. That makes sense. A word to the Marlin enjoyers out there. Golden Tipple banned Shirley infects Marlin. Yeah, that's very true. As well, but she is a deck that needs help regardless of the existence of Golden Tipple. True. That card being present in the card pool would only restrict our ability to build around her core identity over time, and it is near impossible to make other good gold generation cards in the pirate class, with Gravy Bones already having access to Golden Tipple. And no, hero-specific bans cannot be the answer here. Fair enough. While bookkeeping around the first few such bans would be fine, the format would eventually become impossible to remember the web of ban exceptions. Oh, I see. Yeah. Because it's like Golden Tipple's banned for Gravy, but not for so-and-so. All of the Rangers except for Lexi can get Bullseye Bracers. Like, it makes sense. Marlin will have her kit built up over time with some small support in Super Slam. Let's go. Marlin specialization in Super Slam. And more significant support arriving in the sets that follow. More Ranger sets? More Rangers? Remember, this is a hero whose ability read so powerful that everyone convinced themselves 3 of a kind would be banned prior to her release. There is latent potential in Marlin's kit. Enjoy the ride that so many heroes before her have taken and are still taking. Riptide is still bad. And trust that someday she will find her place. Marlin enjoyers, you will not find your place. I still have a 30% win rate on Riptide. And he has all the tools. He has even more tools than you do. Actually, no. That's technically not true. Even in the States of Summer. Yeah. This This is perfect. I think this sentence right here, the starting point will be the ban of yellow and red, and the perhaps saltwater swell is too much. I think gives players the ability to sigh a breath of relief that maybe that they are absolutely keeping an eye on this. But good. I want to see how let's see how Gravy does in the battle hardened. From her creation, Verdance was always envisioned to be a battle mage, weaving arcane damage and physical damage in equal measure. In testing, though, it was clear the numbers for such a strategy didn't work. Pack enough arcane barrier, and the battle mage Verdance simply could not deal enough damage over the course of a game to close out opponents. Thus, rampant growth / life was born. A combo kill was exactly what Verdance needed to find the windows to win. While decomposing was still challenging and the raw damage was simply not there. But with the addition of Burn Bear, and now especially Light Up the Leaves, the math has changed. It's becoming easier for Verdance to decompose, her chunk arcane damage is getting larger, and her tools will continue to evolve and improve as time goes on. This means it's time to give some points away from Verdance's endgame, while pure Rampant Growth life kills purposefully take a hit with the ban of Plume. And the addition of Light Up the Leaves is the thing that really mediates this ban. Returning a 6 arcane damage burn spell with Plume left Stormstrider kills feeling near arbitrary in the late game. By allowing power to other aspects of by allocating power into other aspects of Verdance's game plan, we hope to make this experience of playing against her more enjoyable and potentially make her matchup spread slightly less polarized than it presently is. Cool. Sounds good. It always felt weird to go like what is it, like Rampant Growth, just like what is like the exact it is return target earth action or earth instant. Yeah, it's like it always felt extremely strong to be able to just pop somebody on the end of their turn, pop Striders, pop Plume, plop them again. So it's like Burn Bear was like 9 or something, the math. I don't know. This makes sense. She still is felling of the crown. Like, she still is felling. She gets, like, it's fine. This is cool. This is interesting. Talk a big game. At this juncture, we have taken on the feedback that if the development believes there is a dangerous deck with potential to operate outside of acceptable parameters, our players prefer we address that the deck in advance of its release. Sentiment broadly seemed to feel that we waited too long to ban Zephyr Needle, even though a sanctioned classic constructed game was never played with Ira Zephyr Needle. Here we are trying to act with ample notice. I see. The Ira Armory deck came out, Zephyr Needles existed, and things exploded. Like, that makes sense. With the release of Super Slam, Talk a Big Game will allow a couple of ludicrous heroes to run their mouth off a bit too much. In this case, we've chosen a preemptive action. Sure. Cool. Everyone whined about Zephyr Needle. So they are pre-banning Talk a Big Game. So Germinate got it an unban. Emblematic of our new approach to ban and restricted management, we intended to return Germinate to Florian's card pool. Or we intend to. We still believe Germinate and Everbloom Life might give Florian one of the best endgames of all time, in all of Flesh and Blood, but with Gravy Bone catching nerfs and a secondary predator for heroes looking to go extra deep into second and third cycle should prove to be a healthy thing for this metagame. We never wanted to see Florian removed from his competitive viability, which he kind of did unintentionally, and it is clear that his current metagame already presents challenges, or that this current metagame already presents challenges for the hero. We are willing to return some support his way with the acknowledgement that Florian's pre-High Seas dominance led to a bit of an overreaction. Cool. Hell yeah. Let's see it. Give us back Germinate. Blitz I genuinely don't care about, but Talk a Big Game is banned. Living Legend I do kind of care about. Pardon. Living Legend, the following changes to Living Legend are effective as of Monday, September 1st. Deadwood Dirge is unrestricted. Early returns on our first efforts to bring Chain back to the rest of the Living Legend field look promising, with Deadwood Dirge restriction offering some noteworthy splash damage to Viserai in his Living Legend Armory deck. We are motivated and willing to attempt returning Deadwood Dirge to the card pool. Okay, cool. So you can play this one. This is this one. Destroy an aura, create 3 root chance. They are going to continue to have Living Legend be a silly format, a silly fun format. So cool. Next scheduled and ban restricted announcement will be published on Monday, November 3rd. So in a month. With changes affected November 10th. That's a little scary. That is literally like a week before Worlds. United States time. Oh boy. I guess because Worlds is in Philly. Okay. Let's go. Good changes. I hope that actually brings... I really do hope that brings Gravy down just a little bit. And I think that their approach and conversation of like, hey, this hero is going to be in the format a lot longer because he's only getting half points for a year. We know he isn't strong statistically, but everyone thinks he's insane. The top players have proven that this hero is crazy, but he's hard to play. We're going to ban Golden Tipple. We have our eye on Saltwater Swell. We have our eyes on the Gravy play pattern. We will continue to monitor it. Fantastic. Bonds of Agony needed to leave. It is extremely restricting for design philosophies. That makes sense.